to another episode of the Beyond Sport podcast series. I'm Nathan Foley, a teacher at Club Doncaster Sports College, and I'm delighted to be joined by fellow teachers Craig Collins and Mark Ellens, student host AJ, and delighted to introduce our guest today, Leigh Overton. Leigh is a former professional footballer, current semi-professional footballer, and currently working as a PT and life coach. So thank you for coming on, Leigh. We really appreciate that.
How's it, guys?
For sort of to kick us off then, Leigh, is the first kind of question. Can you sort of give us a background from yourself in terms of going through the professional football ranks to sort of what you do now in terms of helping people to transform their life, both physically and mentally?
Yeah. So I started, I was at Grimsby from sort of 11. Went through the years, got a YT, so spent 2 years, 16 to 18 year old, moved up to Grimsby, got in digs and everything. 2 years as a YT, then luckily got a pro deal for a year, which was obviously a big dream of mine from when I'm a young kid. Obviously always wanting to play as a pro, so yeah, got a deal as a 1 year pro deal, and literally really enjoyed that year. So like you would. Didn't get another contract, unfortunately, which is what it is. So then, ended up moving into sort of non-league. Struggled probably for like the first couple of seasons in terms of like getting settled and getting a club. When I left Grimsby, I tried to get trials and that everywhere. Literally, like in pre-season, I think I went to 4 different clubs, like training, a couple of like friendly games and stuff, and like nothing materialised. And it got to the start of the season and I literally didn't have a club, so I was just like scratching around. Ended up signing for Spalding, which just they was literally the only club that was looking for a keeper, so I signed there. Just didn't fit well with me. Nothing went that well, to be honest. And like I say, it gave me, for a couple of years I sort of struggled to get settled. Ended up finding sort of a team in the United Counties League, which is like what the NCL is around the Doncaster area. Started playing football, started really enjoying it, and that's when it kind of started snowballing to then seeing getting sort of moved back up the leagues again. When I moved up to Doncaster, played a season at Armthorpe, and then I moved up a league and to play for Ossett Town for a couple of years. That's when I sort of met a lot of guys from Doncaster area. And then a couple of seasons ago, moved to Belper, got injured, had like a year out with a bad shoulder, had to get an operation and everything on that, so I had to rehab that for a good few months. And then this season signed again at Belper, and obviously then we've come to the stage where we're not playing again. So it's been a frustrating couple of years, to be fair, but hopefully we'll get back playing again soon in terms of that. So and then business-wise, sort of PT-wise, when I signed at Grimsby, I was literally like a stick. I was so thin. I had nothing going for me. I wasn't in any shape. Being a goalkeeper and being only 6 foot, say only 6 foot, but for a goalkeeper that's quite small. So I had to do something else to try and get my presence about me and stuff. And luckily, we had a goalkeeper coach there who had been in the same situation as a young lad, wasn't very sort of big. He was the same size as sort of me, and he sort of took me under his wing, built me a physique up so that I could have a better presence on the pitch. He knew how to get me from the position I was to the position that I ended up in, because he had done the same thing. So I sort of took a lot of inspiration and confidence from him, really listened to what he had to say and how he helped me, and I'll be forever grateful for him for helping me in that sense. So then as it sort of evolved, I got a better understanding of fitness and building muscle and sort of having a diet structure and living a better lifestyle around football and about training and how to recover and all that sort of stuff. And then I've just sort of took it with me from there. So like as I went into non-league, obviously I had to get a job. So I turned to a bit of sports coaching, but all the time sort of continuing on that sort of fitness and health journey. And then when I moved up to Doncaster, I kind of thought, right, I'm gonna do something to push me more into that kind of sector. So did my personal training course in 2016, which sort of gave me the basics of what I needed to know for start training clients and what I needed to do to get them there. Did a lot of face-to-face stuff. Didn't actually work in a gym as such, but I tried to sort of mobile train as much as I could. And then I ended up sort of moving it into more of a garage-based personal training sort of thing, which was great, and I really enjoyed sort of working and meeting new people, helping them along their health and fitness journeys. And then 2019 it came around. Started a family, so obviously had a little bit more time had more time needed within that sort of to look after my little guy. And all this time I'm sort of working in a full-time job as well, so I'm juggling sort of football, full-time job, personal training as well, and it all sort of got a bit much. So I had a good few months off personal training. Then I thought I wanted to keep doing. I want to keep doing this. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to stop helping people and stop doing things for myself. So I turned to online coaching, which is when I started learning about how I can help people through, again, getting to what they want to get to in terms of health and fitness and diet, nutrition, lifestyle, all that sort of stuff. But I took it all online, did a business course in it, and then set that up sort of back into 2019. And I've sort of carried it on from there to where I am now, which is having a client base and helping people remotely as opposed to seeing them face to face, which within the current times is obviously very amped as well. So
definitely, appreciate that.
Yeah, that kind of leads on to my question, Leigh. So you obviously mentioned about at that time where you were having a full-time job, you were playing semi-professional, you were trying to do the PT stuff. How did you kind of manage your time? I know ultimately you decided to let one slip a little bit to then prioritise, but kind of the pressures from all angles, from family, from their time wanting your time sort of thing, your club wanting you to concentrate on your football as well. How did you sort of deal with them kind of pressures mentally?
It was tough, to be fair. Like, I knew I always followed obviously fitness as a passion. So I never wanted to stop doing that, and I never wanted to stop doing football. So I had to just try and prioritise as much as I could. So literally, a lot of it was sort of late nights, working as in PT stuff, early mornings as well. Football is a bit more set routine because obviously with non-league you're probably training Tuesday night or a game, then you're maybe training Thursday, always got a game Saturday. So you kind of know where that is, and I could base my fitness and online work and that around the football side of things. But sort of juggling a full-time job and then sort of online training as well, it is tough. But I think kind of having a routine set, which I've sort of really tried to nail down the last 6 months, is having a routine so that each day I know what I'm going to be doing, setting time aside to do X, Y, and Z tasks, and being a lot more structured as opposed to just trying to do it here, there, and everywhere. So I've found sort of over the past 6 months I'm doing that, and it's helped me a lot. And it actually frees up more time because you're not scratching around thinking, right, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do? It's having that routine in it, and it definitely helps me in terms of getting more clients on board. And I mean, it's a bit different now because obviously we've got lockdown and stuff, so things are taken away. So I've kind of ramped up my online business while the football's been away. So it'd be interesting to see once obviously that gets back, how I go from there. But definitely structure and routine is a massive one in that regard.
And I think that's something that we've kind of touched on previous podcasts about kind of people getting through this lockdown, and having that structure and routine really kind of helps people focus. Yeah, really good.
Definitely.
Leigh, you were saying about, you're obviously at Grimsby for a long time, as a youth team player, and then you got offered the pro contract.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about routine. I saw Ashley Williams was on Football Focus, and he was saying when you stop becoming a professional footballer, you lose that routine. Was it difficult for you when you got released from Grimsby to get sort of mentally deal with that?
Yeah, definitely was. Like, I think as a footballer, you get used to being told what to do. You go in training every single day at the same time. You get a training session put on for you. You probably get your food afterwards. Then you get told you're doing a gym session at a certain time. Then it's go home, do this, that, and the other, see you tomorrow. And then on a Saturday, you get the same thing, but you obviously got your football there. And there's only really Sunday where you probably sort of have time to yourself. So you do get stuck in a routine of just listening to people and they'll tell you what to do and you just do that. So then kind of when that's gone and you do have to go into the big wide world and you don't, especially as a young lad, 19-year-old, I sort of had to, because obviously I was living in Grimsby, it was all from us. I was living in digs, so obviously people help you out in terms of your food and that, but so I had to move back home. Sort of lost all that kind of independent kind of stuff that I had living away from home. Losing the fact that obviously I stopped doing something that I absolutely loved. It was obviously always my dream to do that job, and it was tough, yeah. And like I say, I got messed around a lot trying to find a new club, which didn't help. And then I was scratching around trying to find a new team. I didn't have a job. Like 3 months, I had 3 months where I didn't work, and it was really tough. But I think luckily I kind of found a club and then found a job within the space of a week, and it kind of helped me to get out of that slumber, if you like. But it was tough, and I know a lot of people who have come out of the pro game and have struggled to A, find work, B, find some sort of reason to what they're going to do with their life next.
Again, cheers for being so honest about it, and it kind of leads into AJ's question about mental health side of it.
So, Liam, do you think it's easily overlooked by people, like the importance of like exercise of mental health, like because it seems that more people are bothered about the physical gains?
Yeah, definitely. I think social media is a big part of that as well. But definitely, I think exercise, for me personally, I know exercise, again, I'm going to go back to sort of having a routine, is the routine and structure that comes with sort of exercising regularly and having goals and having a set structure just massively helps in terms of like your mindset and your headspace. And for me, exercise is great, like you say, for physical gains, because obviously you get more body confident, you feel fitter, you feel stronger. Everything that comes with exercising and building muscle, etc., is fantastic. But I think something that's overlooked a lot with exercise is how good you feel after you've finished exercise. So, like, I don't think you can do a workout really and then ever feel bad after it. You get them endorphins flying. If you're in the gym, you go and grab a shower, you refresh yourself, you come out of the gym feeling $1 million. And it just sets, especially if you can sort of do it early on in the day as well, it like sets your whole day up for you. And strangely enough, you go and work hard and do a workout or go for a run or whatever, and after you've done that, you grabbed a bit of food, like say had a shower, and then you feel like you got more energy than you had before. So it's definitely something that I try and preach to my clients online, is the fact that, yeah, we can do X, Y, and Z in terms of sort of diet and everything in that to get you in shape in terms of sort of body fat and etc. But the meaning behind exercise is so much more than just physically looking and feeling better. It's, or like you say, the mental side of it is so rewarding. And again, if you can get that structure and routine, it puts you in such a good space in terms of mindset and mentality.
I think that when you talk about preaching things to your clients, sort of feeds into my question, Liam. What like consistently is like the number one piece of advice that you tell all your clients? Because I know you'll get clients of different backgrounds, different goals and stuff. So what's the number one piece of advice that like consistently you tell every single client?
Yeah, for me, it's there's so much information and advice actually out there now that you can kind of get lost in it a lot. And to me, it's just about being consistent and being accountable for what you're doing. Like, you can do 101 things to maybe get to where you want to be, but it's about kind of enjoying the process and understanding why you're doing it along the way. It's all right, sort of some person saying you can do X, Y, and Z and it'll get you, you'll get in shape or you'll lose body fat, whatever you want to do. But it's about kind of enjoying the process, seeing what you're doing, why you're doing it there, and then understanding that you're getting there because you're being consistent, you're being accountable, and you're understanding it, the steps as you go along. For me, that's what I try and preach to my clients anyway, is the fact that you can just, like I say, there's a lot of different pathways where you can get there, but it's about doing it your way and then you understanding it. So hopefully, if and when the client says, look, I'm super happy with what I've done, I'm going to try it on my own, they can then go and do it themselves, and it's like a long-term process rather than a short-term fix, if you like, or a short-term gain.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, Leigh, are they, obviously with all the different roles that you have at the minute with your PT stuff, your life coach stuff, your job and your semi-professional football stuff, is there any elements where there's kind of transferable skills, and if there is, how important is that to have?
Yeah, I think there is definitely. Like, I manage a small team in my full-time job, so obviously I'm sort of that presence at the top where I'm trying to filter down things, and it's the same with sort of coaching clients online. Is I'm kind of there to help them. Very rarely can they come to me and actually say, "Oh, you can do this better, Leigh, you can do that better," because they come to me because they understand that I've got experience in it, I've got the knowledge and qualifications, etc. in it. So it's the same sort of thing, is just having kind of, it's teamwork really, because obviously with having multiple clients, you've got different, each person is different, and you've got to understand that person, you've got to understand what they're excelling, what they struggle in, and obviously what you can help them in terms of sort of getting them to the next level. Other things, again, I'll say, like I've said already, is having that routine, having that structure. People know what they need to do, and it means that they can then go and do it themselves, and they're not kind of the reason I like to say coaching is because I want to coach people. I don't want to just tell people what to do and then tell them this, tell them that, when they're not. A lot of times when you tell people stuff, you're not always learning. Whereas if you're coaching, you're kind of asking them questions. What can you do here better? What can you do there better? And for me, it helps massively in terms of getting results for my clients online anyway.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's sound advice. And sports college, we have the academic pathway through the BTEC level 3, but we also have the level 2 gym instructing. And quite a lot of our students want to go into the fitness industry. What advice would you give to anybody looking to get involved with working similar to what you're doing, life coaching, personal training?
Yeah, from what I've sort of gathered, it's harder for me to say because I've never been on that gym floor. So my path is probably different to other PTs. But from what I've learned myself in terms of reaching out and getting to people, is to be unique and to be yourself, so that people buy into you as a person, and also sort of having a specific reason why you want to help these people. So like for me, for instance, I'm really big on having a flexible diet to help my clients get the results they want. So it's about eating foods that they enjoy. It's about not demonizing foods. It's about a lot of sort of flexibility, but it's what works for them, so that again they can understand it and they can move it on themselves in the future, hopefully. So that's kind of what I try and portray as an online coach. It's about being flexible within your diet, but it's also a lifestyle change as well. But there's so many. The great thing with sort of the fitness industry now is there's so many different avenues you can go down. So there's always something out there. I would say, if you're going to do it, you do it for the reason that you want to do it, rather than just to try and fit in with the crowd as such.
Yeah, because I looking at your Instagram, and you're keen on nutrition's one of the big things that you pride yourself on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Nutrition for me over the past few years has massively taken off, and people are kind of understanding that you don't have to live this like boring, restricted lifestyle. If you need to diet, there's so many ways around it, and that's what I try and preach, is that the fact that you can be as flexible as you want to be, you can be as personal as you want to be, and hopefully with my help and my coaching abilities, I can help you get from A to B within that flexible approach. So
yeah, that's sound. It leads into AJ's question again about young people and mental health.
Yeah, Leigh. So, how important do you think it is to encourage people to talk about the mental health?
Yeah, really, really important. Luckily, with my work last year, I took part in a mental health first aid course. It was a 2-day course. It was quite intense, to be fair. There was a lot of sort of case scenarios about how different things and different people and their mental health is all sort of attached, and it kind of, there was a lot of stuff in there that was quite sort of serious. It sort of talked about, unfortunately, about like suicide and things like that. And obviously with the lockdown and stuff, we're seeing a lot more people sort of maybe struggling and what have you. And it's definitely important to speak about it. I like to think that I'm quite approachable, so that obviously people could come to me if they wanted to speak about it. That's what we learn on the mental health first aid course, is about how to be approachable, what you can do to help support these people. And then sometimes I think it's just about listening to the people. Like, everyone's got their own different problems in life, I'm sure, but if you can just sort of sit there, listen, be a comfort and be empathetic to them, it goes a long way. And like you say, if we can sort of be there for somebody, and even if it's just to listen to, if it gets them off the chest and it makes them feel better, then obviously that's what you're trying to achieve. But I think mental health is definitely, it's a big topic now, and more people are talking about it, but I think there's still that stigma attached as well, which obviously we need to try and move, especially for males. I think it's a big thing, but I would like to think that over the next sort of 4, 5, 6 years, it will become a lot more sort of relevant to people, and people can definitely talk about it, because like you say, it's really important, and it's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. So, and physical health and mental health, they're both as important as each other to me.
Definitely. What advice would you give to maybe a youth team player, or somebody who's been released by a club or about to be released by a club, and what advice would you give? You've stuck within football and you've done really well for yourself within semi-pro football. What advice would you give to somebody maybe who's been released?
Somebody's been released, it's just trying to not see that just because you've been released, it's the end of the road for you. I definitely felt a little bit like that, especially when I sort of kept getting sort of knocked back from different clubs. I thought, I'm never going to get anywhere. And obviously I didn't get another professional contract, but at the same time, looking back sort of over non-league, I've had some really, really great experiences. I've met a lot of really good people. I think non-league, in terms of sort of the community aspect of it, is far superior to the pro levels. I think pro leagues, you still have that stigma attached, where you have professional and then fans, and there's kind of that bit in the middle where it's kind of blocked out. Whereas non-league, it's you're all as one. You go and play a game on a Saturday, and then 20 minutes later you're in the bar having a chat with some of the fans and they're buying you a beer, sort of thing. I think that's really good. So it's not, I would never say that non-league the program is any better. It just depends obviously on each person's circumstances. But in terms of sort of advice to them, is just to try and get out there as much as you can. It really depends on the individual, because if you're really desperate to stay in the pro game, then obviously you need to go and try and explore different avenues. Whereas I know some people come out the pro game and they actually think it's a bit of a relief. I know a few people have said that before. So it's not always the be all and end all in the pro game, but definitely it's what suits the individual, and it's just probably taking a step back, thinking about the options, and then obviously pursuing where you want to go down and giving it 100%.
I think that kind of advice could be applied to a lot of different walks of life in terms of just stepping back, like assessing the situation if you do find yourself to get knocked back. So is that something you'd agree with, Lee, again, like looking at transferable stuff, like the resilience side of stuff?
Yeah, 100%. Like, to go back to sort of where I was, when I took a step back from doing my personal training and assessed what I wanted to do next, it gave me another avenue of actually I could go down the online route. Now I've gone down the online route, and actually I think I'm now more suited to online, and I enjoy it more. So just taking that step back and having a little bit of time to myself has really helped. And football wise as well, I had an injury for a year, took a step back, and as soon as I'd had the operation and was getting back into it, I knew there and then I didn't want to stop playing football. And it gives you that fire and that hunger to drive on again. And that's what really got me through my rehab, especially, is the fact that I was desperate to get back playing again. And luckily I got back into a great club at Belper, which is where I'm still, which is still giving me that fire in my belly to play football, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can. So
that's brilliant.
So just kind of touching on your football stuff, Lee, AJ's one of our students, is an aspiring goalkeeper. He's got a little question just to ask you about a little bit about that.
Got him on the spot now.
As a keeper, Lee, do you have like a routine, like gloves? Like, have you got like a routine what you do every single Saturday to get yourself ready?
Yeah, I'm a little bit meticulous in that regard. Like, my warm-up's sort of always the same. I think any footballer, kind of the build-up to a game on a Saturday, you try and do the things the same. You try and eat the same foods. You try and do things pretty similar. I think it's just a footballer thing, that, again, a routine thing. But as a goalkeeper, I'm not massively superstitious, but I do like to try and keep the same things. Like, my warm-up's always pretty much the same. I always like to feel like, daft it sounds, like to have a nice fitted kit, nice boots and gloves have got to go with it and all that sort of stuff, because mentally you just feel a bit better when you've got a nice kit and everything on. And yeah, I don't think I'm massively superstitious, right? It's just, yeah, you just get into a routine of warm-ups. Is always a good one though for non-league players, which you'll probably find is you'll get one week you'll have a really good warm-up with somebody, and the next week you'll have somebody else warming you up, and you think, oh, this is crap. And that's always the fun part of being a goalkeeper, when you've got nobody to warm you up on a Saturday.
Well, I actually play at county senior level, and obviously you have like your keeper trainer and stuff. Do you have like a bang on like the pair of gloves that you have to have, or have you like changed to find the right pair?
I do tend to I sort of have the match day gloves and training gloves. So I'll probably warm up. Yeah, this is probably a little bit meticulous. So I'll start the warm up in my match day gloves, do some just catching volleys, etc. Then I'll switch to my training gloves for more sort of shooting wise and what have you. And then I'll obviously get back in my match day gloves for the game. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a little bit meticulous in that regard. Yeah.
What's the pre-match meal?
Pre-match meal, it's usually sort of scrambled egg, baked beans on toast.
Nice.
And then you obviously do your recovery afterwards. Would you be big into, the importance of recovering straight away, getting
that's
protein in? Yeah,
definitely. I think especially with non-league, you find that obviously you don't really get a meal at the end of a game or anything. So that comes down to being personal and how much you want to sort of aid your recovery. I know for me, even as a goalkeeper, if I've not played for a long time, I sort of, the day after a game, I'm quite achy and tight and stuff. So I have definitely started I've got more of a routine now of recovery. And like I say, nutrition is vitally important as well, which is I'm really big on now. So that's always taken care of, to be fair.
Yeah.
Hearing goalkeeping stories, Lee, is something we have to endure on a daily basis working with Will Biggs, you see. So I think my final question to kind of round it off is, who would you personally say is a better keeper, yourself or Will?
Oh, well, I don't want to say this because Will's a good friend of mine, but he was at Armthorpe goalkeeper until I came, and then he kind of didn't play much more. So I'll let you be the judge of who's the better keeper.
Hey,
he's a great trainer. He puts on
Yeah.
a great session. You can tell him. Last summer he put on some great sessions for me and TJ. So
that's fantastic. And I think just to kind of round off, I remember coming to your circuit sessions at Wadham Village Hall when back in like the start of 2017, and I think to see how you've grown your PT business and life coach business from that to sort of what it is now to being online based, and like the stuff you share on social media, and that's really like inspiring and motivating, and definitely applies to people who might only have a baseline knowledge in terms of how they can develop and get better. So like genuinely on that front, it is amazingly. But just to really say, like, best of luck with the rest, or see how the football season pans out, but best of luck with everything in terms of business-wise, football-wise, moving forward. And thank you so much for your time and sharing your own experiences and thoughts with us to help our own students.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed it. It's been good.
Thanks, Leigh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leigh.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Thank you.